It's a powerful ending, even though like Adam Sandler is of course the main star. I felt like every character though did have their moment.
Drive-By Movies here. You're watching
Fresh releases.
This week we're talking Uncut Gems, directed by the Safdie brothers.
You having a good time?
Yes.
This is me. This is how I win.
So 2017, we saw one of the most adrenaline-fueled thrillers ever. It was a really fun movie. You wanted to see it. I saw the trailer. I was like, yeah, it looks pretty good, but it wasn't like high on my priority. But Good Time from 2017 ended up being my favorite movie that year. I mean, we talked about it we did our 2017 favorite movies of the year. Mm-hmm. Go ahead and check that back up again. But yeah, coming off again, I think this movie was pretty hyped for us, especially with Adam Sandler being cast, just because we've always knew he's a great actor. If you don't believe us, like check out Punch Drunk Love. Mm-hmm. He's fine in Spanglish. I'm sure he's great in other dramas too, but just like he has it in him. It's just he doesn't always choose these type of roles and stuff. And the Safdie brothers used him the way we want to see him, and he's fantastic in this. And another great hit, I'd say, by the Safdie brothers.
Definitely have to agree with a lot of that. One of my favorite movies is Punch Drunk Love. So I just know that Adam Sandler has a good role in him. I know that he's just living a cush life, making the movies that people want to see. But at the same time, you're probably questioning me being like, no one wanted to see The Hateful Six or whatever.
But they keep getting watched, though. Netflix said it was one of their most watched movies of all time. Even if the thing is, like, even if you don't like those style movies, a lot of people are still tuning in, and he's raking in those dollar bills.
I don't know if it's like he's raking in the money, but it's just like, it's success.
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't know. It's funny because I think a couple years back we had watched a movie in theaters and everyone was just loving the Grown Ups 2 trailer, and I couldn't get it. I'm like, I've seen this trailer before and no one's laughed. Yeah. But like this movie screening for some reason, this is the end. People are just dying at the Grown Ups 2 trailer. I'm like, what's going on here? It's just something about that wavelength that I think I grew out of. I think if you're a 13-year-old boy, it's still funny.
Yeah. Well, also, I remember trying to rewatch some of those Happy Madison movies, and I just wasn't into them. Like, I was like, ooh, these have not aged well. Some a little bit better than others. I love
Happy Gilmore still.
I haven't rewatched it, but I remember loving The Wedding Singer when I rewatched it recently. I was like, ooh, this is not as funny as I remember.
I've never seen it, actually, so I feel like that's more of a romantic comedy.
Yeah, though. It is less more that Happy Madison style comedy, but it has the entire crew, though.
Yeah.
And stuff. It has John Lovitz and like the guy from Grandma's Boy. Sorry, sorry, Mr. Actor, I don't know your name, but yeah. But this is completely different, though. Like, just like I remember what was upsetting about the hype with this movie, though, when it first got released at the film festival circuit, was a lot of like clickbait websites. Not going to name them on here, but they were like, right, Rotten Tomatoes just gave Adam Sandler's new movie 100%, and I'm just like, are you kidding me? Well, first of all, Rotten Tomatoes doesn't give the percent. It's just like an algorithm they follow. But and also just like,
go ahead, name them. I don't care.
Yeah, it's Adam's. Yeah. It's an Adam Sandler movie. Like, no, it's a Safdie.
I mean,
movie.
It is an Adam Sandler movie, but they're using it as the clickbait of you're gonna think it's an Adam Sandler movie. Like he was, the executive producer on this picture. Like, I mean, he might have taken an executive producer credit. I didn't pay that much attention, but at the end of the day, you're right. It's a Safdie brothers movie. It follows along the lines of a lot of what they did in Good Time, and just bringing that with an actor that we know, like Adam Sandler, who might feel like your dad at some points. Like, you've grown up with him, like, he's a familiar face, but you're seeing him in a different light, kind of embodying this character of Howard, who has a deep gambling addiction.
And he's like, it's funny because he's like, is a family man in this movie. Like, he tries his best, at least. He tries to be close with his daughter, but he just lets his like everyday life just ruin everything in his crazy addiction. And yeah, it's just like, if like, I'm just gonna get my one complaint with the movie out of the way. It's just 2 hours and 15 minutes is just a little too long. There were a couple scenes, like there's this family gathering scene towards the end of the movie that like adds some cool family drama.
It's Passover.
Passover, yeah. Like that scene, I felt like just kind of added to the running time and stuff. Like it like gave us some cool drama between the family and stuff. But it like there were scenes like that could have been cut out to narrow it.
I don't know though. I feel like that scene was actually really integral to the movie because it shows you a side that you didn't know. Like I love the dissemination of information that the Safdie brothers used in this movie because there's a lot of like pieces of the puzzle that you don't even know are like part of the puzzle until you get there. And that Passover scene reveals that Arno, the character Arno, who's this guy who's been after Howard for his for money, who you just assume is like a mafia or mob boss or something, right?
True,
but actually it's his, I guess it's his brother-in-law.
I forget. They're related though somehow.
They're not blood related, but it's a relation by, familial ties. So
it did lead to the great scene also. I do like that apartment scene and how intense it is actually because they're leaving New York, so his son needs to use the bathroom, so they stop by the apartment and stuff. And that scene was like relatively like that was a powerful scene. Like there's a lot of those like silent moments where you're expecting stuff to happen, and there's not really like a whole lot of violence or like stuff like we saw in Good Time essentially. But it all escalates towards the end of the movie, of course.
There's a lot at the end for sure, but I agree with you. I think I was expecting it to get much worse between like the fixers and Howard at times because you kind of expect them to, take it over the edge. Like in Good Time, I don't think they stray from, waiting for the violence to, pop off at the end. They kind of just... It's from the start, the movie starts off with a bank robbery.
Right, exactly.
So here it kind of like, it's behind the curtains, it's going to come out at any moment in time, but throughout, the course of Uncut Gems.
Not there though,
it kind of like waits.
Yeah, it's a powerful ending, even though like Adam Sandler is of course the main star. I felt like every character though did have their moment. I mean, his girlfriend that he dates throughout the movie, she's hilarious throughout, and then every scene that she's in at the casino was fantastic. I thought his wife also, she has her moment actually at the Passover scene. Like that's a great scene for her to just talk about how much she hates him.
That's Dina Jezebel too.
Yeah. Oh right.
Or, what did Bella Dazeem? What did John Travolta call Idina Menzel? What did he call her? Like at the
some crazy
Bella what he called her something ridiculous. But that's Idina Menzel. I think she did a great job.
Please welcome the wickedly talented one and only Adele Dazeem.
One of the things that also adds to the movie is, of course, the score of the movie. While it wasn't like as memorable, I felt as Good Time, score-wise at least. Like the movie, I think is still going to hold up for a while to come. The Safdie brothers, I think, is now a name to be reckoned with, and of course, they got Martin Scorsese to executive produce the movie. I'm sure getting the attention to him. They're not going anywhere anytime soon. They now have the A24. I'm sure is not letting them go, and just like. But yeah, the score once again though is a hit. Like it's funny because at times like it feels very lighthearted during some of the darkest moments and stuff. But it does add to it. Like there's people arguing, but it's like very soft, like relaxing music, and that kind of just made me feel uncomfortable the whole time.
It definitely is a tension adder in like it's adding the opposite of what you're expecting.
Exactly.
But it makes like the top just kind of something about this movie where I already knew as soon as like it was announced that okay, this is like probably one of the most hyped things, at least for 2019 is concerned by me, that I was looking forward to. And I was avoiding the trailer like rabies until we saw the lighthouse, and then you couldn't avoid it. I'm not going to close my eyes in the theater. That's just awkward.
I disagree. Gary.
Exactly, yeah.
But this is probably my most hyped movie, and I feel like it definitely delivered on most points. And I think one of the things that's funny is Adam Sandler was talking about how if he doesn't get an Oscar nod, he's going to make one of the worst movies that you've ever expected. So I'm looking forward to that because I don't see him getting the Oscar nod. I think it's deserving, but I really don't see him getting the nod. I expect we're going to see something out of the blue, like Eddie Redmayne gets a nomination for the Aeronauts.
I mean, already he got no love for the Golden Globes, and I always found the Golden Globes to be more of a joke just because there's like 10 nominees for every category, because there's 5 for Best Picture, musical or comedy, Best Picture, drama also, and then same thing for actors and actresses. Supporting, though, it's only 5 for each, though. But just like, yeah, it sucks that he wasn't recognized. But I know he's doing well, like the Screen Actors Guild, like he was nominated for that as well. Like,
I want to win though.
Yeah.
I don't want a nomination. I think his portrayal of this person that's, you know, struggling with a deep gambling addiction, that's you're so far in debt, but you're still trying to dig yourself out of this hole. That every time you get any like chance of getting a little bit out of the hole, you risk it all to get all the way. Like that, it just blew my mind. When there's multiple times in the movie where he's you know, making a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then
he's had plenty of opportunities, to like pay everything back, but it just keeps getting worse and worse. And
but you even like, I've been thinking about it a lot. Like, is there times where, as the audience, is he lying to us? Like, from what we can see, is he lying to everyone that's around him of how much? Like, he says he bought this uncut gem for $100,000. He says it's worth over $1 million, right? He says like 1.75 million or something. He can make that much at the auction. He never gets the appraisal because he loses after he gets the gem, he's boasting it up so much that he loses it. He never gets it back until the day of the auction. And then like it's at, they put it at, oh, this is only worth like 75,000. Like that's where we're going to start the auction. And he goes from like, no, it needs to be at $1 million. To like, okay, I'm okay with this. You know, is he lying to us the whole time that it's even worth $1 million?
I wouldn't be surprised. Like he's not really the most trustworthy person. I mean, look, he literally gambles Kevin Garnett's ring at the intro of the movie and gets it back, but like it's still in debt because of that and stuff. Like trades a ring that meant a lot to him for it, and just like it's just constant like, oh, like I'll figure it out, and just like it's horrifying, and it's just like you're just like going through dread watching. I'm just like, oh my God, like I get upset losing $20 whenever I go to a casino and stuff. Like, how is he doing this? And that's our first time bringing up Kevin Garnett. Also, well, Lakeith Stanfield's another actor that I was excited to see. We've been watching him.
The Weeknd. I know you're
Weeknd. Holy crap! Like, I mean, seeing Adam Sandler smack The Weeknd is hilarious, and I love that it takes place. It's like, it looks like it's a modern movie, but it takes place in 2012, which is crazy to think how much has happened since then.
And it's still very contemporary for 2012. Like they did a great job of it being contemporary for 2012.
The fact that they're saying, you know, Kevin Garnett, he's getting older, but he's still like, you know, has a lot of years in him. And then The Weeknd hasn't even blown up yet to where he is. I mean, he just won most listened to artist, or he was announced as like the most listened to artist of the decade.
Was it on Spotify remembering?
Yeah, I guess he was the most listened to artist, and like it's just funny to think that like not that long ago, like 2012, it's only 7 years ago, and just like, oh yeah,
he had some bangers, you know.
I never really got into him, but like it's just funny to see him, like the Safdie brothers, like, you know, just casting people like that. And
I mean, he's barely in it, but it's enough to be like,
it's a memorable scene.
It's
and Kevin Garnett though, like back to him though, is fantastic. Like who would, like out of all NBA stars, Kevin Garnett, like they didn't go for LeBron. They didn't, well, like LeBron had his moment to shine with a train wreck a few years ago. And just like, it's, like.
I love with how fantastic the script goes at points. It's still very grounded and believable, because you're like, okay, wait, why does Kevin Garnett want this rock? It's like he's holding on to believing that it is giving him the strength and the power to do well in games. And then he's hit with doing really well in a game. So his idea, his like kind of batshit idea becomes very believable. And very like metaphysical almost, that it's, that was very enjoyable to me. That it's such a wild script. Like there's so many wild things going on, but it's still very believable and like very frightening at points because of how, you know, it was in tune with what was actually happening at the time.
Yeah, 100%. Like, just like still kind of flabbergasted, even though it's been like about a week since we've watched it, but like it's been on my mind nonstop. And it's a movie that I definitely want to like just rewatch to notice stuff, because every scene kind of has meaning behind it to where it's going to lead somewhere else. And it does, like everything does come like not full circle essentially, but like everything that like every decision he made comes back to bite him in the ass by the end of the movie. And so not just him, but every character and stuff. And just like, yeah, it's just really great watch. Like, I'm glad that a lot of people are watching it. Like already, it seems like a lot of people, it's generating a lot of interest just from having Adam Sandler in a whole different role and stuff. So I hope that like, you know, this just revitalizes his career essentially.
I think as it's concerned for Adam Sandler, I feel like he's happy at where he's at. I feel like his crew, like when they're making a movie, they wrap the day. They start at like 10 and then wrap at 3. And I think that they're just all at a point in their lives where they're content with where they're at.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's going to revitalize his career, but I think it still shows and hammers home that he is like a real actor because so many people have given up on him. Like, oh, he can't act. It's like, no, he's just being successful. Yeah. And there's a difference sometimes between being successful and doing what you're really good at.
Right.
What he's really good at is apparently acting, which a lot of people don't give him the credit for.
Yeah. No. And like, I like that the Safdie brothers have done that 2 movies in a row. Like, I mean, we've always I think we've always known that Robert Pattinson's always been interested in indie movies, but we just haven't really watched them. Like with The Lighthouse, a lot of people are talking about it, but like Good Time, when we watched that, we're like, oh, no, like he's a fantastic actor. He's like knows what he's doing.
Easily one of the best of the generation, and I'll probably retract that when Batman comes out.
Right on. But yeah, I mean, just like now that like this might be your introduction to Adam Sandler's like acting, like we saw it like. Damn, Punch Drunk Love is pretty old now, but like that was almost 2 decades old. But no, we've always known he had it in him, and just like it's cool that other people are getting the chance to see it, and I'm excited to see who the Safdie brothers work with in their next movie and stuff. Yeah,
definitely. I feel like this was a project that they almost had chosen him for in a way. Like the script was already there, but it feels like they chose him, and that was a great like person to choose to.
And I read up on it. It was their original choice, but didn't work out, and then Jonah Hill was casted in the role, and then after some conflicts happened, and then eventually they were able to land Adam Sandler like they originally wanted.
I think Jonah Hill's a great actor, but I don't think that would have been the movie that I would have enjoyed as much.
It would have changed the whole process of like being a family man, because Jonah Hill's a lot younger. Like would they have changed the script like less?
They probably would have had to rewrite the script essentially. To be honest,
but what we got at the end of the day, I'd say is just fantastic movie. One of the best of the year. It's easily going to be in my top 5. Might be number 1. Well, you'll find out in a couple weeks in our videos.
Guys, I recommend you checking out Uncut Gems. We really enjoyed this one. Go check it out when you have a chance.
And that's going to conclude this week's episode of Fresh Releases. Thanks so much for checking us out. Be sure to check out Uncut Gems in theaters right now, and after doing so, leave a comment to let us know what you thought about the movie.
Definitely hit the subscription button, guys, and click that notification bell to know whenever a new video comes out.
That's going to conclude this week's episode. Thanks for checking us out. Tune in next week for another new video.